Cheers. Good evening. Shabbat Shalom. Guten Tag. Ohio. How? Aloha. Dude, can you believe it, man? Ryle Kittenhouse, guilty on all charges. Fucking crazy. Never thought it was going to happen. What an end to the arc. You haven't heard of him? What, have you been living under a rock? What are you, in the jungle in Zaire? Crazy. Guilty, guilty, guilty. No moon ruins, please. If I can't read it, it shouldn't be in my chat. Honestly, nobody should be surprised by the outcome. Most people following the actual trial footage saw this coming from a mile away. Everybody was saying he's not going to be guilty. Guilty. Apparently it says good morning. Good morning. That is a whole lot of shit to just say good morning. I feel like there was a lot there. No, I was just baiting people. I don't care. The outcome of this matters not to me. Well, yeah, but what distraction are they going to come up with to move on to next? Now that this is over, a couple more weeks of this is going to be bled out. What's next? What are we all going to have a strong opinion about next? What are we all going to be at each other's throats about, despite the inconsequential nature of it, next? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? That's a mad dog. That dog is angry. Why are you so angry, puppy? Why that puppy so angry? Paul, are you aware the crisis involving space debris in Russia just blew up a satellite? High-speed garbage can tear through space station. Yeah, we covered it on Flash Fried briefly. My only real commentary on it was to laugh at how human beings literally immediately shit up any environment that they go into. Like, there's probably a grand total of what, like 100 people that have been into space, maybe even less. And there's already so much crap up there. We've already ruined it and made it like dangerous and polluted. Oh man. Gee whiz. Gee whiz. At least space is big enough that the species can't ruin the whole thing. Yeah, we just ruined it for ourselves and any other being that might want to come visit us. We've turned our, entire fucking upper atmosphere into a deadly projectile fucking maze. So we're ruining the space that we have the most access to. And the further we move beyond that, the more we'll ruin. Because that's what we do. At this point, I'm almost starting to become like, let's stop learning about the universe. Because if we do discover like a creature, like let's say that they go to Europa, right? Drill down through that ice. And they put some fucking probes down there. And there's this like civilization of like, methane-based life that's got a whole fucking thing down there, right? Far-fetched, I know, but let's say it happens. That we're gonna shit that place up. There will literally be big fat Texans dookying into the fucking Europa ice within a year. I shit you not. We will turn Europa into a shithole. We'll literally poop down the ice hole, into the fucking water, and pollute the water. So maybe it's better that we don't discover these fucking things. You know what I mean? I'm starting to think from, the perspective of like, all right, let's give life a chance elsewhere, And if there really is, multicellular life or whatever on Europa, it's got a way better chance of fucking surviving way longer if it has no contact with us. The proof of that is in the pudding. Look how many fucking species have gone completely extinct off the face of this planet because of us. Not because of some other tangential circumstance. Not because fucking, nature was done with them. They had their time. But because we interceded. We came into their environment or brought something into their environment and we killed them all. So what makes you think we're going to be any different with a fucking species on Europa or Proxima B or whatever the fuck? You know what I mean? Can I just make sure that you, oh yeah, good. Somebody got you already, I think. Yeah, I want to make sure that you're all the way the fuck out. Whiny bitch. The Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race and the natural world. Yep. Yep. There are likely thousands of civilizations that exist in our galaxy alone. We can't detect anything beyond a tiny radius around Sol. Well, that's about to change, isn't it, though? They're putting a new fucking telescope up there. They're putting a telescope up there that's 300 times more powerful than the Hubble. And its first mission is going to be to look at galaxies that are so far away that it's within 400,000 years of the Big Bang. Because, I don't fully understand it myself, but when you look through a telescope into deep space, you're basically looking back in time, because it takes light, a certain amount of time to travel the great distances from that source to us. So the light that we're seeing from a lot of these super distant galaxies is some of the first light that was created in those galaxies. And so they don't look like that now. If we were able to teleport ourselves there, we would see them much differently. But because they're so fucking distant, we're able to look back in time and see what they looked like when they basically first started to emit sufficient light to reach us. So there's a new telescope, going up that it's like, I don't know everything about it, but it's incredibly more sensitive than the Hubble is in terms of light. And it's going to, give us way more accurate measurements, and it's going to produce some stunning photos of deep space. And, the James Webb. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. All right. So the Hubble. Let's say, okay, you know what a Dyson sphere is, right? So if a Dyson sphere, which is this theoretical construct built around a star, where basically a civilization is built in a giant dome around a star that has artificial lights, and then the power source is the sun, and it's, blah, blah, right? It's a theoretical thing. So the Hubble, it wouldn't be able to detect one, even on the closest star to us. So if there was a Dyson sphere on Proxima Centauri or whatever the fuck, the Hubble wouldn't be able to see it. It wouldn't be able to pick up. It wouldn't emit enough light. It can only see the star. So, from my understanding, that's not true with the James Webb telescope. Like, they could point that shit at a star, and it's sensitive enough that it would be able to sense not only the light from the star, but the artificial light from some colossal structure around a star. Which, it's just putting us all ever closer to being able to point that shit at a planet and see the fucking city lights and shit at night. It's going to give us a closer look at the closer things to us than we've ever had. It's going to give us a closer look at the edge of the galaxy than we've ever had. Pretty fucking awesome. I can't remember if it's infrared or if I think it's a multi-spectrum suite, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's meant to replace not just the Hubble Space Telescope, but another one that does near infrared. And I think it has a suite on it that can do both. But I may be wrong about that. I think it's likely that we're alone in our local area, but that area is extremely tiny. There could be a galactic empire of thousands of worlds on another ring of the Milky Way. And the Milky Way is just one galaxy in a fucking universe of billions and billions of galaxies. See, this is where, like, I don't mean to get back on the fucking simulation theory train, but this is where it gets fucking dicey for people that want to argue against simulation theory. Because, like, quite honestly, when you understand the amount of fucking civilizations that just theoretically exist, there must be fucking like a million simulations of the universe and then simulations within the simulations. So the Fermi paradox being what? That if the universe is abundant with life, that we should have seen evidence of it, right? If it's literally teeming with life, as a lot of people posit, then we should have evidence of complex extraterrestrial life. We should be able to see it. They should have visited us, etc., right? That's the Fermi paradox, yeah. I don't know if I'm correct on that, to be honest with you. But yeah. As I understand the vastness of space, even if there were billions upon billions of spacefaring civilizations. So yeah, I would imagine that it would be very simple for us to be tucked away in a little corner of a galaxy where, you know, it's like a backwater in terms of galactic travel, and maybe there's like the Great Filter as well. You know, we could go on and on. Hope you're having a good night. Thank you. I am having a good night. Right. That's the Great Filter. The idea that every civilization gets to a certain point. A lot of people theorize that it's harnessing the atom, and that knowledge eventually destroys them in some way, or they reach some barrier and that knowledge destroys them, or they find something out in the cross with the dark jungle theory that I like so much. You become able to space travel, and then there's some kind of equalizer that notices you and comes and culls your civilization. The Great Filter. Whatever that could be. Yeah, I mean, just there's a lot of theories as to how we could approach the speed of light in terms of traveling. There's a lot of theories about how, we could possibly traverse these great distances even to our closest neighboring star. But it very well may be true that there's no type of technology that can make you travel that fast, or that there's no way to safely do it. And so these civilizations might just burn out from atrophy on their own planets, stymied by their inability to functionally escape that home planet, because getting somewhere else and terraforming a planet, as fun as it is to theorize about, maybe it's impossible to do something like that. Wormholes are a theory. What if wormholes don't exist? Or what if they exist, they don't function in the way that you think they do? What if they exist but they're unexploitable? Anything that goes into them is destroyed. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's kind of banking on this, like, oh, we'll beat Einstein's theory of relativity by folding space. You know, the immense amount of fucking gravity and shit that would be needed to do some of that, to bend space enough to bring two distant points together so you could pass through the hole between the two. It's not looking good, you know, and that it doesn't mean, you know, I'm not trying to be a total Luddite here. I'm not a fucking rocket scientist or a theoretical physicist or any of that shit. I'm none of that. But hello, D. It's very possible, I think, in my mind, that interstellar travel is just impossible, and that might be the great filter. You know, like it's just there's no engine that can be made that can put, you know, there's no way that you can push a being that fast. There's no way to travel between these distant stellar bodies, and so that would mean that all these billions of civilizations just kind of exist on their planet until they can't anymore, whether they kill themselves or whether they just die when their star burns out or whatever it is.
I think wormholes are like literally the closest thing you can get.
We were just talking about that, and wormholes are entirely theoretical.
Yeah.
We don't know if that's how, you know, there's theories about the fact that they may connect super distant things. There's theories about quantum teleportation using quantum strangeness and quantum entanglement to send things over long distances and shit, but all of that shit is entirely theoretical, and there may be some kind of barrier to that.
We might not be able to find one either.
Right.
Or create one or whatever the fuck.
We could also be a previous civilization's realization that could never venture to other stellar bodies or just pushed asteroids out on their own system to places. Maybe. I mean, there's like the panspermia is what they call that. And, you know, there are some people that think that, like, it explains the gigantic leap in complexity in cephalopods, like octopuses and squids and shit. They just kind of come out of nowhere in the evolutionary, you know, strata. They become very complex over a very short amount of time, and so there are people that are like, okay, maybe that's like panspermia.
Well, they're also all soft. It's hard for them to make fossils.
Right.
All squishy.
That's true. They don't leave behind any bones. But, you know, people say that maybe they shot some eggs on a fucking asteroid or some shit into space. Who the fuck knows, bro? I've heard people talk about panspermia before, and they talk about how, like, life is a fundamental bundle of chemicals and elements that's moving around on the stellar winds, basically. It's an outcropping of the Big Bang, and it's just kind of like in all the dust and all the chemicals, and it moves throughout the universe, and when it finds one of these planets, it fucking hits the surface, and there it is. And craft traveling even half the speed of light could cross the galaxy in 400,000 years. Yeah. If one made a lot of these crafts and sent them all over the galaxy, they could come across many worlds. 400,000 years. Like, and you're assuming, once again, you're assuming that the technology is attainable to go half the speed of fucking light. Nothing that we've done even comes close.
Yeah, the speed of sound.
Yeah. We broke the sound barrier. That was a big deal for us, you know. Sound is pretty fucking slow in comparison. So let's be real.
And it's like, even if we were able to make that craft, communications wouldn't come back from it.
Well, yeah, I mean, so here's all the things that would have to line up for that. You would have to have a species that was willing to dump major amounts of resources just sending cryogenically frozen embryos of their species. So all over the fucking galaxy and hoping one hits a planet. I mean, the undertaking would be immense. Just firing those things off into space, each one of them representing, the entire fucking GDP of a planet. So then you've got to solve the problem of like the eternal battery that would be needed to fucking continue. Like, where's this thing going to get energy from? One of the greatest barriers that we have right now is that the fuel that it takes just to escape the gravity of our own fucking planet, let alone our stellar system, is like, you got to bring so much fucking fuel. Basically, the shit that takes astronauts into space is a tiny little pod strapped to a giant bomb filled with hydrogen fuel shit that gets ignited, and it takes every little bit of that just to get us on a trajectory where we can get into orbit on our own planet. So carrying that much fuel, reducing the weight of the craft, which, means making it flimsy. So we need to come up with some kind of fucking polymer that is super light, but also, super resistant to fucking asteroid strikes and micrometeors and those types of radiation. Yep. So all of these barriers have to somehow be functionally overcome. Maybe that's the reason, maybe that's the great filter. Maybe those barriers are not attainable. And it's likely the propulsion barrier that is the one, in my mind, that is not attainable. I think all this other stuff might work, but it's having something go that far, that fast, for that long, get that, escape the gravity of fucking other stellar bodies and shit to get to their intended destination, plus powering all the pods that would keep everything on board in deep cryostasis or whatever the fuck, inventing that technology, and then you're 400,000 years from where you started. Literally, like, there'd be no way for you to communicate, so you got to invent instant quantum communication before you send anybody out there. There's another technological barrier.
Sending someone out there, you can't prove that they did anything.
Well, I guess the idea would be like to escape the planet, to make sure that the species goes on. So that would require, once again, a species to be so focused on just that, that they've invented all of these things that are all just theoretical at this point, maybe scientifically impossible. Seems like a pretty big hill,
It's like, what would we do if, like, one of those crafts hit Earth? Would we, like, unfreeze all of them? And, like...
Yeah, District 9 them. Because there would have to be some adults to tend to the fucking embryos.
Yeah.
So there'd have to be some frozen adults. They would wake up. We would immediately cordon them off, and then we'd find out they had a bunch of fertilized embryos, and there'd be a bunch of little alien children running around, and we'd make a hood for them, make a ghetto for them.
Or we'd just be afraid and, like, kill
or just
everything.
blow them up, yeah. Who knows?
Or they have some fucking virus or something and kill everyone.
Who knows? I mean, just the idea that they would be able to function in the same atmosphere as us.
Yeah.
Shockingly low. Or function in the same gravitation. Like, maybe they need way heavier gravity. Maybe they come from like a super planet, and being here just makes them ineffectual. Or maybe they come from a planet of very minute gravitational pull, and like being on Earth is like being crushed. Assuming space exists, right. That's true.
That one dude that was so obsessed with the idea that Kubrick faked the moon landing.
Yeah.
That the Shining was like an admission of him faking the moon
Yeah.
landing.
Yep. Never happened. Dude, I had a friend once that was a hardcore. He thought the whole space thing was just all a trick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like every aspect of it.
He was like, Paul, I want you to tell me something. You know about the radiation belt between here and the moon? I was like, yeah, it's pretty bad. He's like, do you know that lunar lander is made of fucking tinfoil, bro? He's like, there are parts of that lunar lander, I shit you not, they're made of foil. 2 sheets of foil that far apart. He's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, bro. Everybody in there would have been cooked. That's just the one factor of it. He had the whole thing down, man. He did not believe. He refused to believe we went out there. Said they faked most of their fucking launch footage and shit. You know, or they launch a fucking thing that just goes over the horizon or whatever and crashes into the ocean, and they go retrieve it, and then they tell everybody, like, oh yeah, they came back. Look, out here in the ocean where we left them.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, thinking the moon landing was fake is pretty least consequential.
Yeah.
That and like the flat Earth thing, like, yeah, it's stupid.
I don't know,
but,
the moon landing being faked, that's not inconsequential, man.
Yeah.
That was a big deal in, like, you know, the whole Cold War shit.
Yeah.
It was a big deal. Like, fucking the idea that the Ruskies could be on the moon pointing missiles at us and shit, we had to get there. Or did we?
So, like, someone proves the moon landing's fake, and then the Cold War starts all over again.
Yep. How did the flag blow in the wind, Amelia? How did the flag blow in the wind? There's no wind on the moon. I actually saw that one explained.
Yeah.
They put a flag in a vacuum and moved it around, and it went like...
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. Well, I guess that defeats that little one, but...
We did put missiles on the moon.
We didn't?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
They didn't carry no missiles there.
Because the last time I checked, well, how do you know they didn't? They told us oh yeah, we're going to get moon rocks. Dude, they knew that moon was made of the same shit that's here. All that mining equipment and all those, yeah, I know what they're doing, dude. There's only one side of the moon we can see, too, because there's people saying, oh, there's, you know, if you have a real powerful telescope, you can see one of the flags they planted, and it's like, yeah, on the side of the moon that's tidally locked. What about the dark side of that bitch? You know what's over there? Missiles. Whole fucking moon base back there, man. Fucking crazy shit. Hollowed out the center of the moon and built a whole civilization in there. It's a big nuke reactor. Man, I know what's going on here. I've seen the truth. The truth has been revealed to me. They do see some weird ass shit going around the moon. I'll tell you that. I've seen some like telescope footage and shit where like there's some shit fucking flying around the moon, coming up off the surface and going around the backside of it. It's like, what was that?
Or we're just hiding the aliens in there.
I genuinely do believe that there's some shit on the moon that we don't know is there.
Yeah.
There's no way that the fucking government was straight up with us on this one thing.
Yeah.
Right? They've lied to us about every other goddamn thing of consequence ever in the history of all time and forever. Except the moon. They told us everything about what they did on the moon. They put some shit up there. Some listening devices and some goddamn... They buried some mines or something where they thought the Ruskies and the Chinese are going to land. I know they did some shit. They put some shit up there. How would it survive there? Dude, we can remote control that shit. We were able to send video of the dude stepping out of the lander onto the moon. They could fucking send a signal to that. Launch a missile. Every once in a while, send a team of people up there to refresh it. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. They have a mobile command base. Damn, the communists. Wow. From an alien's perspective, space races when two different groups of the same species wanted to spend tons of resources to be the first to blow each other up from the nearest sunlight. Yeah. It's true.
No, we did. Jurassic Park is real inside the moon.
We put the fucking dinosaurs in the moon. Yep. Yep. You're right. That's where they're at. They're keeping the fucking dinosaurs in the moon.
And then eventually fucking Tesla and fucking Blue Origin will start doing trips to Jurassic Park.
Oh, yeah, dude. They've probably already been.
Yeah.
This whole, like, oh, we're just going to fly up there was a whole cover for Elon to get to go to the most exclusive fucking rich person park anywhere. The dark side of the moon, Jurassic Park. Those little fucking blobs that people take pictures of, those are little shuttles taking people around the moon for their, like, moonlight dinners and whatever in the fucking yacht. Come on, man. You telling me they're going to tell us that they can do all this shit? Come on, no. Nope.
And someone takes a fucking dinosaur egg home, and then we get real Jurassic Park.
True. If you know what's good for you, stop talking. Probably right about that.
Now I'm suggesting taking an egg back.
Can't take an egg back. That's U.S. government property. Time to roll a doobie.
Yeah. You already threw them? You already threw the last one?
Hell yeah. That was this morning's doob. Probably gonna need a little more. Yeah, let's bring the Neanderthals back. Why not?
They've been saying they're going to bring the mammoth back for like 20 years now.
Yeah. They've been saying, yeah, we can do it. It's like, well, do it. I want to see a fucking woolly mammoth. Hell yeah. I want to see a saber-toothed tiger. Hell yeah. Giant cave bears. Fuck yeah. Let's bring them back. Why the fuck not?
What could a woolly mammoth possibly do?
Go on a crazy rampage through a city, but whatever.
Just put them where the normal elephants used to be.
Yeah, that's true. But then they're woolly. They'd fucking bake down there in Africa. We gotta put them up in Antarctica or some shit.
Maybe they already are in Antarctica.
Maybe.
You have a lot of people in
True.
Antarctica.
True.
Pretty quiet about what they're doing down there.
Yeah, they are keeping it whisper quiet. Maintaining all the woolly mammoths so that Bezos can come and fucking see them. You know they'll have that shit for 100 years before we, the plebs, find out about it.
Yeah.
Which means they probably have it now. There is probably like right on the poles or some shit where nobody can look. Because think about it, you have to be off the planet to see either of the poles. So do you know what's at the pole? No, you don't know what's at the pole. I know what's at the pole. A giant dome that is the ultra luxurious rich person haven where they got dinosaurs, all the extinct animals.
I mean, pet woolly mammoths.
Yep.
Or it's fucking at the top of Mount Everest. There's a single woolly mammoth. And if you don't sign the contract, you're one of the people that die on the way down.
Or the way up, yeah. Yeah. You're not supposed to know. They just pop you. Your Sherpa turns around and goes, sir. Oh, what a tragedy. Right this way, Mr. Bezos. We tell everybody that this is a really hard mountain to climb, but it's actually the easiest. Right this way.
Or are they Mexican?
I don't know. I couldn't do a Sherpa accent. I don't know what accent they have. I don't know how somebody from like fucking Kyrgyzstan sounds. I don't know how a Mongolian accent is, you know what I mean? So I went with the next best thing. Like, I think a Mexicans could be a Sherpa.
Yeah.
Like, if there was some shit around Mexico that needed some... I bet there are some Sherpas.
Yeah.
I bet down in South America way and stuff, because they got some tall-ass mountains. The Andes are down there, right? Yeah. They got some tall-ass mountains down there. I bet they got a Sherpa or two kicking around. It's South America. But there's a Guatemalan Sherpa or three that'll take your ass up a mountain. Take your old crusty white tourist ass up to see Machu Picchu or whatever the fuck, you know? You need a Sherpa for some shit like that. You can't just go to Machu Picchu. You can't get a flight to Machu Picchu. You gotta fly to whatever the next closest city is, like 100 miles away. And then you have to strap some shit on a donkey. And you have to walk out into the goddamn jungle towards the mountains. Because there's nothing nearby. So you know they gotta have a Sherpa. There's gotta be somebody taking these white folks up to Machu Picchu. Because there's no other way they'd get there. Trust me. Why don't we have any, like, American Sherpas? Got a couple of tall-ass mountains. It's not tall enough, though, huh?
Yeah.
Our mountains are kind of puny in America.
Yeah, we have roads up a lot of them.
We don't like to talk about it, but our mountains are, like...
They're bitch mountains.
They're kind of bitch-made. I mean, they're tall and shit, but they're not that tall. South America's got us beat. Canada's got us beat. Fucking, I think Asia's got us beat. Europe's got us beat for sure. You know what I mean? Got some bitch-made mountains. I think the only ones we beat are like Australia.
Yeah.
I think the tallest peak in Australia is something that like a fat guy could take a 5-minute walk up. It's like a hill out in the middle of the outback or some shit. Machu Picchu. Yeah, America's got some bitch-made mountains. You got to go way out to get the real mountains. The Brooks Range of Alaska is one of the tallest mountain ranges in the world. Yeah, but Alaska's not real America.
Yeah.
It's not.
All right, I'm going down the list and I see a hell of a lot of Himalaya, some India.
Yep.
I don't see no Alaska on here.
Yeah, Alaska.
I'm at 108. There ain't no Alaska here.
So we're not even in the top 100. I mean, Alaska, like I said, we got the Sierra Nevadas are some tall ass mountains, dude. Let me tell you a little story about a man named Jed Donner. Okay, and he loaded up his fucking whole ass family in a covered wagon, and they were going to try and get over these Sierra Nevadas. And they took this pass that just so happened to be called Donner Pass. And you know what happened there? Their asses got stuck up there, and they all fucking feasted on one another. They ate each other up there. So I'm telling you, Sierras are no fuck around mountain. But you know what there is through Donner Pass now? A road. You know what you can drive up through Donner Pass? A car. So, you know what you can't take a car? To the top of Mount Everest. There ain't no way to get it up there. It's too tall. It's too fucking steep.
You hear Cricket agree with you in there.
It's like, yeah.
Dude, anyone that's not a patron is missing out on the most wholesome Scotty moment ever in that cat episode.
Oh, yeah.
That's the most wholesome I've seen Scotty in a long, long time.
Yep. It was a good episode. The vibes were good. Mexico's got a few tall ones. Yeah. South America, though. Them Andes Mountains. Those are some tall ones. Those are some tall boys down there. You know what else doesn't have like a bunch of big ass mountains? Africa. They got Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa, but that shit probably is way down the list. You know where else? Japan. Mount Fuji is bitch made. It just looks impressive because it's the only goddamn mountain anywhere. You know what I mean? But you put fucking Mount Fuji would get eaten up by some other mountains. You know what I mean?
Literally the top 10 mountains in the world are like all along one thing by India.
Yeah. Yeah. We're fucked, man. We don't have mountains. We ain't got real mountains. Japan is a very mountainous country. No, it isn't. It's hilly. It's hilly.
I didn't see no Japan on that list of top 100.
That's what I'm saying, man. Mountainous, and we're talking about the tallest mountains in the world, dude. Those are hills. Those are foothills.
But you know what America does got? one of the biggest lakes of fresh water. There's other bigger lakes, but they ain't fresh.
That's true. It's kind of lame, though. We have a lake, you know? I mean, a lake is cool, I guess, strategically speaking, but...
Well, you did a whole episode on lakes.
A lake is like an upside-down mountain filled with water.
Yeah.
It's impressive, but you can't see how impressive it is because most of it's underwater. But a mountain, that motherfucker stands out like a big old boner on your country. Dude, where's the Matterhorn again? Is that in Switzerland?
Like,
dude, I bet as soon as you get into Switzerland and you scan the countryside, you see that big-ass Matterhorn sticking up like a big old boner in the middle of nowhere. Everest, that's in Tibet, right? I'm sure anywhere in Tibet, you can just kind of like turn around, swivel your head, and see Everest. It's probably not true. Can't miss it. People do some weird shit for vacation stuff.
yeah.
Like, I would like to see Machu Picchu, but functionally, that's not a vacation.
It's a journey.
Yeah. And I'm not like a scholar or something, so my dumbass laying eyeballs on that shit, that's really not in aid of anything. You know? I'd like to, you know, see what, like, the top of Mount Everest looks like. But that's fucking crazy, dude. There are frozen-ass 1919 bodies just, like, hanging out on the trail. They're like, oh, yeah, that's the 1920s gentleman, as we call him. He's pointing the way. It's like, fuck, you can't even take these bodies down off the mountain? No.
Because people died trying to take bodies down.
Yeah, it's not worth risking your life to get the body down, so it just stays there. It's not worth risking your life trying to bury it.
Yeah.
You just keep going and hope you don't end up another one up there because your ass ain't coming down. You die up there. Fuck that. Fuck that shit. Mm-mm. And then some people will just go to like, and they'll just go to some like war-torn ass places, completely unaware of what they're doing. You know what where this happens a lot? The Holy Land. You know how many fucking fat, stupid American tourists wander into that fucking mess with no idea what they're doing? They think they're literally going to just like walk the same route that Jesus walked and touch the spot where he was crucified and shit. They have no idea that they're heading into an area that's just like, there are missiles being fired and shit. They just go.
Yeah. My teacher was going to plan like a class trip to Israel. And like he eventually had to cancel it because a bunch of parents are like, no, you're not bringing our teenage children to Israel.
Fuck no. It's crazy. And look, dude, I know that there are places in Israel and stuff where, you know, you'd probably be relatively safe as long as you didn't look Palestinian. As long as you're not like a Mexican kid or something, because they might think you're a Palestinian over there, and then you might have a bunch of fucking Hasidim chasing you down the street with clubs and shit to beat you. You know, dude, that place is fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's probably like kind of equivalent to like Ireland. Like when it was really hot in Ireland.
Are you talking about like the whole like Catholics versus Protestants shit?
Yeah.
Maybe, but
wasn't
like,
there that one movie where the actors almost died because like the restaurant they were gonna go to blew up with IRA shit?
yeah. It was fucking The Omen.
Yeah.
And they were filming The Omen. There was actually twice that they escaped death, Like there was an IRA bombing at a hotel that the director was staying at with his wife and a bunch of the stars, but they were out on location shooting when the bomb went off. Then the director and the star and the producer got in a car together to go to a restaurant, and while they were in the car on the way there, a fucking IRA bomb went off in the restaurant they were going to. So yeah, just narrowly escaped death at the hands of an IRA. Yeah, I mean, shit was pretty fucking crazy for a while there, I'm not gonna lie. But I don't think that it's like, I don't think it compares. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like there was a lot of acts of terrorism, domestic terrorism, and shit like that. But the type of shit that goes on back and forth, in that part of the world, fucking unbelievable. It's constant, every day, all day.
Get a little break and then it starts up again, and you get a little break and it starts up again.
Yeah. And it's just like there was a brief period of time in like the late 90s, early 2000s when it was kind of like safe to go to Egypt and Turkey and shit. And them times is gone. You know what I mean? It's just the truth. Like them times is over. Like I used to, I really like Egyptian history and shit. I would love to go to Egypt. I would love to see the pyramids and some of the stuff that's there. But that's just like, fuck that. Not a chance. Too dangerous. Yeah, I got to see King Tut's mask in LA when I was younger. That's probably going to be the last time that I get to see something like that. I got to tell you, it was impressive, but it wasn't until later that I realized it. It was so odd laying my eyes on something that I had looked at so many pictures of, and the way that they compose pictures, I almost paled to see it in person. In a way that I feel like a lot of works of art, kind of like you can't take a picture that really evokes the real thing. I feel like it's kind of like that in reverse with some of this shit. When I saw it, I was just kind of like, it was kind of lost on me at first. I think that it was that it was made out of solid gold. It wasn't until later that I thought about that. I mean, it's just an immense, but it was just looking at it wasn't as impressive as I thought it would be. It was still very cool to see. Very cool to be that close to a piece of like amazing history.
Was it like smaller than you thought
Yeah.
it would be? Yeah.
Because he was small.
Yeah.
And it was
He
a
was
death
like a
mask.
teenager or
Right.
whatever. Yeah.
It was made to fit him very closely, and so it's way smaller than I thought it would be. Which I don't know what I thought. Like it was going to be as big enough for the Hulk to wear or some shit, but really a lot of the pictures make it look that way. They make it look grand and grandiose.
just realized something. I don't think we've ever been to a museum together, have we?
We should remedy that. We should do like a day trip to LA and hit up the MoMA or something. Make sure it's open.
Yeah, we just didn't have any time when you guys were doing.
Well, we were fully booked. Our time to fuck around was spent at the beach. You know, we had a few days before we shot, but every day we were in LA, we were booked at that fucking studio. And we did 4-hour shoots, right, every day.
Yeah.
By the end of that, everybody was fucking... Nobody wanted to go do much. Like, even Taylor and Scotty, who are usually, like... They barely did anything.
Yeah. I think they woke up real early one day to do something.
Yeah. They're usually, like, the go-getters of the group or whatever. We travel, they're out. They got a whole day planned of shit. That wasn't happening in LA. There just wasn't enough gas in the tank. But yeah, it'd be nice to go back there. We could do the Museum of Natural History there. It's really nice. The Museum of Modern Art there is really nice. That'd be really cool. When's the last time you had good Mexican food? I don't know.
My dad was here
Yeah.
like 2 weeks ago or something.
Yep.
Not even 2 weeks ago, like last week.
Yep. I live in a place where you can pluck good Mexican food from the trees. Oh. Is that a frog?
Sounds like
One little frog.
it. You better eat them flies, frog.
Come on, man. Find them and eat them. Get them. That's some other shit that I would, at one point, have liked to do.
I know it's like we just haven't done anything for so long. It's like, what are things people do?
Yeah. I'm thinking about like grandiose shit, like going to see the pyramids or something that are no longer on the table. Like, I'll tell you this. I've had my most profound museum experience at art museums. Seeing works of art in person is really staggering to me. It totally has the opposite effect, because you've seen like all the big, beautiful, detailed pictures of a piece of art, but being in its presence is a different thing. And so I would like to hit up some art museums. I would love to go to Europe and do an art tour, see the Dali Museum that's there. There's just a number of just great fucking museums in Europe that I would love to see. Do the Louvre. I mean, you could do a whole vacation structured around visiting just the Louvre. Like, it takes like 4 or 5 days to see everything there. It's like a huge complex. So it's like, you could do a Paris trip where it's like, that's your day. Every day is to get up whenever you want, have a fucking pain au chocolat, and then fucking hit the Louvre, hit another wing of the Louvre, just wander around there and look at art all day. Like, I could actually get with that.
Gotta go to that cave, man. That recreation of the cave.
Oh yeah, that would be
Also in
really
Europe.
cool. Yeah, that's in France. Definitely got to go to that. That would be really neat. Although I don't know if a recreation would be as neat. Maybe it would be. Seeing the actual thing, though, that would be crazy.
Then you gotta just be an anthropologist.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or, like, try to finance a whole new fucking documentary on it.
Or just be rich.
Yeah, you think they
Grease enough fucking palms. If Bezos really cared to see that shit, he'd do it.
Yeah.
There's a good chance he's done it. You know, he just fucking pulls a few strings, calls in some favors or whatever, and his ass is in there. For sure. Not just anybody. You think nobody, like, I bet they get like a fucking 500 requests a year to shoot footage of that motherfucker. There's one person that's been given it. Werner Herzog. That's it. It's the only footage of that fucking, or the only time that a fucking camera crew was allowed to just shoot inside that cave freely. There's pictures of it, but no, you don't get to go in that cave unless you got a lot of money.
Or like some prestigious scientist or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And even then, I bet there's a lot of scientists that want to go there to study it. There's a long list of, waiting list or whatever the fuck. Because, like, every person they bring in there destroys a little bit of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's just like, the reason it was preserved is because it was so sealed off from the outside world for so long. Like, every person that goes in there oxidizes a little bit of that painting, a little bit of that art, leaves behind some dander and some bullshit that they brought in with them, further destroys that pristine environment. So it's like, makes every sense that they wouldn't let many people through it, but where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
Dude, quite honestly, I've been like pretty fucking fascinated with North Korea for a long time just because of the strangeness of it as a culture and as a country. A hermit kingdom or whatever they call it. It's just very, I would never go there, you know what I mean? But just like the idea that you could see that society function, just measuring the difference between that and American society would be a sobering thing, I think. The sad truth of the matter is that you can go and see culture elsewhere, but culture in a lot of places has become so incredibly Americanized that, you can go to Mumbai or some shit, right? I'm not saying I've been there. And obviously you're going to be steeped in the cultural traditions. You're going to hear the music and you're going to get the food and stuff, but you're also going to see the McDonald's. You're going to see the fucking clogged motorways and the people going to work and all the little franchise shops and shit. It's like that shit is it's non-existent in North Korea. It's like a whole society that is completely and utterly inwardly focused. Or just like, no, you don't have a McDonald's. You have state McDonald's or whatever. You have the state-sanctioned food dispensary. And I've seen some footage from inside of North Korea. There are people that have done tourism in there. There's a number of documentaries where people have gone in. And then nowadays it's way more common in the time of YouTube. I was watching like a huge 4K tour that this dude did. It was like multiple videos. And, he was pretty safe. He got to see some crazy shit.
Well, yeah, it's not in their best interest to like regularly like murder tourists or anything.
No, but it's also not in their best interest to let too many of them in.
Yeah.
Because if you lose track of them, then they get film of something you don't want. Because all the film this guy had was beautiful.
Yeah.
The city was beautiful.
Path that they take them down.
Well, there's parts of Pyongyang that are just like amazing, right? Amazing architecture, but he did go into some shit that they tried to hide but can't. There's this skyscraper in Pyongyang that's like a symbol of failure for the regime. They basically like started building it. I think Kim Jong-un started building it, or Kim Jong-il. I'm sorry, and it like sat unfinished forever because it was such a huge project. And basically they just kind of like put glass on it, but inside it's like a derelict mess. So, it's a very stark part of their skyline, but it's basically like a prop.
Yeah.
A prop skyscraper. Interesting. But yeah, everything they take the guy to is very clean and well organized, and everybody looks happy, and everything's functional. They don't take him out into the fucking rice paddies and shit.
Yeah.
You don't really get to see that shit. Some of the documentaries where they secretly film. See, back, I guess they used to do differently with tourism. Remember Vice, back when Vice didn't suck, got into North Korea. Basically bribed somebody in a Chinese fucking, which like, I would never do that, dude. What if that guy just goes like, no, you will go to jail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You end up in a Chinese jail for trying to bribe a public official or some shit. But that's basically what they did. They went to this border town that's right across the border from fucking South Korea. They bribed a fucking customs official. They put together like a little tourism package just for them, and they bought it. And they flew to Pyongyang and got led around by government agents who didn't want them filming. So they had to film clandestinely. And yeah, you get some of the views of the countryside and stuff from them because they took them from place to place. They only wanted them to take still images of the things they wanted to show them.
But driving and shit.
Yeah. And the main dude, Shane, he gets in trouble because he stops to take a still image in front of this huge mural of Kim Jong or Kim Il Sung or Kim Jong Il. I can't remember which one it was, but he like his little handler gets mad because he's standing like too close to the leader.
Yeah.
And he has to like get in the edge of the picture. It's like, oh, don't stand in front of the leader. Okay. And he keeps getting in trouble because they catch him like obviously filming. They took him to this like, they were all hyping it up for him. It's like this national gifts museum, they call it, where it's like all of these gifts that all of these countries have given to the leaders of North Korea to show their appreciation and their respect. And he's describing it, and you go through there, and it's just a bunch of crap. Like, it's probably impressive to, like, a North Korean, but, like, to somebody that's seen a prop before and stuff, it's just a bunch of garbage. It's, like, medals and awards with, like, there's no way that you can... It's like some African art or some shit that he claims is given to him by some chieftain, and it's just like... Or he bought it from some fucking Chinese knockoff place. Who knows? You know, and so they're in there and they're taking pictures around there, and they almost got busted out. The guy was like, he took his camera away from him, and he's like, how much memory is in this camera? And he tells the guy like 16 megs or 48 megs or whatever it is, and he's like, you lied to me. The guy knew how to do it. He pulled out the card. He said, there's 2 gigabytes on this card. You lied to me. You're in trouble, you know. And then he came back later and he was like, I confiscated your card and don't film anymore, blah, 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 and we'll just keep going. And they're like, whew. I like that documentary. Oh my God, man. People are just so dour in the chat. Jason, stop it. You're breaking the rules. I'm taking your wrench away if you don't stop it. You're having a whole fucking side conversation. Like you're literally talking about the genocide of the fucking American Indians or some shit in the middle of the show. Like, think about what you're doing, bro. You're sitting in the chat of a show, having a conversation with another idiot sitting in the chat of a show. It has nothing to do with the show. It's got to be like the fucking lowest form of human interaction. So stop it. That's why there's a rule against it. Because there are literally better platforms for you to get together and exchange fucking pleasantries with one another. Typical Jason, I know. He's such a little shit stirrer. Such a conversation stopper, I know.
This conversation about North Korea.
Yeah, and the broader conversation being like weird places that it would be cool to go, but way too dangerous functionally. I kind of feel that way about Russia, although I think Russia would probably be way, like, probably safer.
Yeah.
As long as you just like stayed in Moscow and did the touristy things.
Yeah, there's like a literal train that you can take to Russia.
Yeah, but isn't it like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd go very far, like, into the countryside of fucking Russia, but I'd go to Moscow, maybe.
Edward Snowden ran there, didn't he?
Yeah. And China, like, tons of people travel back and forth there.
Or just live there.
Right. So it's like, that would be pretty safe. I'm trying to think of places outside of the Middle East and Africa and South America that wouldn't be safe.
Do your Mexico trip that you did.
Oh, yeah,
10
Mexico.
years ago now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to Mexico. I think, like, the only place that I would feel even remotely safe in Mexico would probably be, like, right in Mexico City, once again, in the touristy business kind of area, not traveling out into the fucking countryside and not being loud, which, like, about being American either, which is hard to do looking like the way I look, so that doesn't make any sense, dude. Mexico is not cool anymore. Just not safe. Yeah, Brazil. There are certain parts of Brazil for sure that I would not consider going to. Certain parts of Central America that I would not consider going to.
India's a little dicey too.
India's another one of those things. It's like you could probably go there pretty fucking safely if you know what you're doing, but if you don't, it probably is not all that safe. What about, like, Southeast Asia, like,
Like
Vietnam and Thailand and, that type of shit.
I don't know. I don't know too much about it.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know how safe those places are as a destination anymore. I imagine they're pretty fucking safe.
I know that, like, there's this kid from Vietnam that, like, immigrated when I was in school, coming with not, like, a word of English.
Yeah. Was his last name Tran?
No.
I knew a bunch of Vietnamese kids. None of them were related. Mm-hmm. And they all were named Tran. So that was pretty cool. Apparently that's their, like...
Or Smith or whatever.
Yeah. I gotta imagine, like, going to Vietnam, probably pretty safe. Thailand, probably pretty safe. Yeah, India... Depends, right? Mumbai or whatever. It'd be cool to go to India, but I don't know. I think it might be not cool too.
And the day we go into India is when Pakistan flies the nukes.
Yeah.
Just fucked.
Yeah, that would be great. When China launches them and we're just like, fuck. We could have been watching this on TV and now we're in it. It's the lamest vacation ever. God, now I gotta call my family and say goodbye and everything. Fuck. Stupidest choice ever.
Think how many views you would get with your farewell nukes.
I'd be like, yeah, well, the nukes have flown. Don't bother donating any fucking super chats because I'm gonna be dead here in about. I mean, you all might be dead here soon. So my dumb ass had to come to India. Pakistan done launched the nukes, and then India launched them, and now China launched them. Now we're getting rumors that America done launched them. So hey guys. Wow, this whole humanity thing, man, it's been real. It really has been real. So there are some places in the Middle East that would be relatively safe to visit, probably. Like Qatar, probably, or the United Arab Emirates, probably, would be pretty safe.
I know one of my teachers went to Jordan.
Jordan.
Some Christian missionary trip. That wasn't necessarily safe. It was just like a giant refugee camp.
Yeah.
That was probably bordering on not separating the church and the state, that he had this whole spiel on his experience as a Christian missionary in Jordan, but
Yeah. Don't be fooled by the touristy appearance of Dubai. It's trash. I'm sure you know, Jason, from first-hand experience, man. Jason, I'll tell you what, dude. If I ever need an opinion on what the suburbs of Seattle are like, I'll let you know, bro.
and butt fucking.
Yeah, or butt fucking, yeah. Come on, Jason. No, I'm sure that's true. I know Dubai's got its problems and shit, but I would like to go and just stay in the, ultra dodeca presidential suite on the Burj Khalifa. Just live above the plebs. We would just have to make sure that we didn't drink any alcohol or smoke any marijuana. And we would have to make sure that you and I didn't do anything affectionate in public, I don't think.
Yeah. Cover my hair and all that shit.
You might have to do that, yeah. And that sketches me out. Any place where you're not allowed to, like, do your hair how you want, that takes it right off the fucking list for me. Like, my wife has to dress a certain way or else in this country. No thanks. We'll go somewhere else, bro. There are things to see in places where we can wear, like, sweatpants and fucking be comfortable and throw a backpack on and not worry about a gang of dudes raping us because we have our hair out or whatever. Be okay in a country where man buns were punishable by law. Really? Dude, man buns are... Then you would be... I would die in your country. I put my hair in a man bun to keep it up off my fucking shoulders all the time.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the man bun.
The functional man bun is okay. The man bun as in everyday, this is how my fashion statement.
Or where your hair's not barely enough to even make a man bun.
Yeah, and you got the sides shaved and shit. That's unforgivable. Why not a ponytail? Oh, I do that too.
I mean, I think the worst man buns are like the really tiny ones where they just barely grew their hair out enough to make it. They're trying so hard, but they don't have enough, and it's just this little nugget.
Yeah. I kind of want to go get dreads.
Yeah.
Go get crazy dreads.
And
But
they
then-
get canceled.
But then I realized that I would wake up one morning and I would look at myself and I would see that I have dreads. And I'd be like, what the fuck? But then all I'd have to do is shave. But that's a lot of money. I would assume it would take a lot of money to get my hair all dreaded up. I think in certain cases, white boy dreads are okay. They have to be. White people did dreadlocks, right?
Maybe.
The Vikings,
Yeah.
they had some dreadlocks. See, I got a little bit of fucking, I'm from that area. There's got to be some Viking in me, so I can't have a dreadlock. Korn, the band Korn, that dude had white boy dreads and he passed. The lead singer of, 411 or whatever. Okay, that didn't really work out. Zach De La Rocha. Oh, he's ethnic, though. Damn.
I mean, you can. It's just a matter of, do you want all the bullshit of people finger wagging at you for however long you got it?
Dude, if they finger wagged at me, I would just dread wag at them. Be like, don't you finger wag me. Vanilla Ice had white boy dreads for a while. That was not a good look. So that's a strike. I knew a dude, I worked with a guy at my job at the school district who had dreads that were so long, they were down like past his ass. He was a white dude. And he had these long dreads and he'd keep them fucking bunched up and they would kind of be back behind him and shit. And he was a delivery dude. He would take stuff from the warehouse to the different sites. I asked him one time and he told me he'd had them for 14 years. I was like, fuck. You can't look at that dude and be like, you're fucking culturally appropriating when you've lived your whole goddamn life with dreads. That's a whole different thing.
It's a lot of work, though.
He's got dread cred, That is a lot of work, you're right. Yeah, the Counting Crows lead singer did have some dreads, but isn't he I thought he was mixed. James Franco had dreads. Yeah, but that's a negative. That's a negative. Dreadlocks is just unwashed hair. It's not a style. It's brain decay. What? Jason?
Just shoosh.
Bad twink. Hush your little twink mouth up. Nobody asked for your opinion on nothing. No, dude. Dreads are pretty cool. Dude, cultural appropriation is not even a fucking thing. Not even a fucking thing, dude. You want proof of that shit? All right, you're a white woman, right? Wear a sari, that Indian dress over here in America. You'll have like 18 people fucking wagging their finger. Most of them not even Indian. Go to India and do the same thing, and you'll be treated with nothing but respect for, engaging in the cultural tradition. Because the people that actually live in that culture like to spread their culture. They're proud of their culture. They like to see people fucking take a little piece of it with them.
Or it's like the kimonos in like Japan.
Exactly. They're not like the 99% of the time, the indigenous people and the people that actually practice the culture that people are accusing people of appropriating are fucking jazzed when people do it. And if you look broadly, that's what culture is about. Culture is not about being insular and protected and only engaged in a group. Culture is about expressing itself to the world and sharing itself. And the proof of that is just in the fucking pudding. Look at every kind of culture and every subculture that exists, musically, religiously. All of them share one thing. They desire to be spread. And a lot of them spread very effectively. They want other people to pick it up and run with it. They want other people to experience it and engage in it. Find me one that doesn't, and I'll show you North Korea. You know what I mean? But even that culture, if you listen to the propaganda of it, they want that type of fucking society to spread across the world.
Well, I will say this though. Fucking Nancy Pelosi was 100% appropriating because it wasn't even a thing. It was like
That's different though. That's totally fucking different. Yeah. Like, it is totally different to wear a fucking sari because it's really fucking comfortable or whatever. And put on a fucking African headscarf or some shit and
which probably wasn't even
and some Bantu bracelets and whatnot for the first time in your life so that you can take a knee or whatever in a photo op with a bunch of other crusty old white people who probably make N-word jokes behind the scenes. You know Nancy Pelosi's probably fucking full of those. Yeah. I'm just saying, dude, that's different than just fucking like a like white dude having dreads or
a costume versus actually, participating in it.
Right.
When you treat it as like just a straight up costume, it's
right. Yeah. There's a difference between like I don't know, like dressing like a Native American and dressing in a Native American costume as well. Like there are various ways in which I believe that people can do that like people are not offended by.
You don't gotta ask chat a goddamn thing. This is not polling the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Yeah, you just don't just stroll up here. Not in this chat. Maybe in some other chats that shit happens, but this chat, man, it's not the way it works.
But yeah, like I think it'd be wrong like if you got like a dreadlock wig or something and just started wearing it around.
Here's what would be wrong. Yeah. If I got dreadlocks and then I simultaneously started talking like, "Yo, what's going on, boy? Me from the island, Rastafari, blah, blah." That would be like, all right, you're just aping the fucking culture. But like what you do with your fucking hair, like, come on. Give me a break.
I thought about it briefly because there was this chick at my work that had really cool dreads. She was white as fucking snow.
Yeah, why the fuck not? Yeah. I think it looks good on some people if they're well maintained and shit. And you know what I mean? Yeah, there's nothing against them.
There was also a dude that had an epic man bun just because of the sheer efficiency of it. It's like his bun had like a lot of people had buns because they had to keep the hair off their conveyors. Like, he had to fix his, and his hair was literally down to his fucking knees, and he managed to fit it in a fucking bun.
Damn. That's fucking crazy.
Like, how do you do that?
Down to his knees?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
See, I made you appreciate man buns, Johnny.
There you go. That's not a man bun. That's a man loaf. Okay, yeah, you're probably right.
He made it look pretty tight. Like, you could not assume the length with how tight he made it.
I gotta tell you, I understand exactly what you're saying. Yeah. The fact that he had more hair to work with probably made it a tighter bun. Yeah. Because, like, my problem is that my hair length, and I don't know if this is terminal length or what. I think it might get a little longer. But that's about, like, that's the longest piece of hair on that part of my head. Mm-hmm. I just have a problem with it slipping out because I don't have enough hair to work with to get it in a really tight bun. Mm-hmm. So it ends up just coming out.
Yeah, it's like you got all kinds of support beams and shit with that much hair.
Yep. And my hair is super heavy. Yeah. But it's not long. And so if I had that extra length, yeah, you can wrap that shit like 19 times, you know what I mean? I need to figure out some different ways of doing it, though. I need to look at some different styles and some different fucking tips on how to do this shit. Because I'm telling you, it's like, in the winter, it feels kind of nice to just let it hang down. But if it's ever warm at all, it's like having a blanket on your shoulders. So I gotta put that shit up in the summer. And sometimes when I sleep too, I just get up in the night and I have to put it up real quick because I'll wake up with it in my mouth and shit. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put the hair up.
Yeah. See, I'm not a good fucking wife to help you with that hair shit because I just don't give a shit. I don't do nothing with my hair.
Well, you don't need to. You got this like beautiful, straight, long hair.
But it's also like way thinner than yours, so it's not as much of a pain in the ass.
Right. And so, like, your hair doesn't, you don't have to, and you do some crazy shit with your hair, by the way. You can put your hair in a bun without having a fucking rubber band. Yeah. That's crazy. My hair just ain't built for that. It'll spring right out of that. But you've got this really super straight hair that's like, just wrap it up. I envy that. Wish I could do that shit. Yeah, she's got very, very fine, straight, beautiful chestnut brown hair. My hair is like, I mean, you can see what it's curly as fuck. It's poofy. It's thick.
Her hair is almost like the exact same color though, like that picture of us together and the.
Oh yeah, in the sun. That's creepy.
Her hair is like the exact same. Like,
that is true.
Together.
Yeah, that was creepy.
I think Phoebe was the one who pointed it out first, like with another picture you had posted.
It might have been, yeah. Yeah, that is. But, yeah, it's just a different kind of hair. I just have super thick hair. Every time I've had long hair and I've gone and gotten a haircut, I get the same thing. Oh my God, you have such thick hair. It's like, I never knew what that meant until I grew all this shit out. And I was like, oh. Thick hair means I can't use a normal hair tie. It'll snap.
You got the scrunchies.
I have scrunchies and those break.
Yeah.
The little scrunch. So I have to get something better. I have to find something else to put my hair up in because the little scrunchies don't work anymore. I need big scrunchies now. Mm-hmm. Fuck.
I mean, you could go get your hair done, like get the ends or whatever, and then talk to the lady. It's like, what's the best thing I can do with this? Give me like a shopping list and
I'll fuck. I wish my mom would give me something to work with because she has the exact same hair as I do, but she just goes like, oh baby, here's what you do. Yeah. Just pull your hair over here like this and you go like this, and she just breaks it into 3 and braids her fucking hair up real quick, and it's all out of the way. And I'm like, Mom, I don't fucking do that shit. Let me see if I can do it. Because I used to know how to braid hair. I used to help my mom braid my little sister's hair. Okay, so I know she pulls it over the side, so I got to get everything. Oh my God, there's so much more. Here we go. All right, and she kind of pulls it over the side so she can work on it. I'm gonna try this. see if it's even possible. Okay, here we go. Pull a ponytail over here where I can work with it. Alright. And then I gotta break this up into like 3 chunks. That I know. So 1 chunk right here. Oh God. Oh God. This is a nightmare already.
No.
Alright, let me try this again.
I think the main thing she taught me is like you can't just like do the braid, you have to like also like twist while you're doing the braid.
That's a fucking nightmare. Yeah, you gotta get 3 parts because if you don't. But my hair is so fucking fucked up. Okay, hold up. What if I do this first? What if I like twist it here? No, that can't work. That's not gonna work at all. Alright, so how would she grab a chunk? You grab it here, right? Like this. Okay, so that'd be 1 chunk. Okay, second chunk. Oh God. Oh God, this chunk has got a tangle in it. Okay, okay. So chunk number 2. Okay. Hold on. No!
You lost it? Here, let's see if I can figure it out for you. See if she taught me anything last time.
I think I'd need to brush my hair.
Yeah.
Because there's tangles in it that are preventing it from being possible right now.
Let's see. Let's see if I can maybe manage.
Ah!
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I didn't mean to hurt you.
No.
Pull you?
No, I just need to brush it before I have it braided. It's the same problem I was running into.
Yeah.
It's got tangles right now.
I'm sorry. I hurt
No, it's
your
not.
head.
No, I was hurting my own head trying to do it. I'm tender-headed as fuck too. I'm a pussy when it comes to that shit. Ugh. So when you do it, you do this like thing where you like wrap it around your thumb.
Oh, you're talking about when I do my buns?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just fucking put it in like a ponytail. And I like
Okay.
wrap it around my like pointer finger.
Your pointer finger? Okay.
And I just make a little tuck.
Make a little tuck. Okay.
I didn't do a good job with that one.
Oh,
I haven't done it in a minute.
No, I mean it's not.
Oh yeah, I don't use my finger the whole time. I like use my finger to start it, and then I just wrap it on itself.
Right. So you
And
get
then I
it
tuck
started
it
on your
in.
finger,
Yeah.
and then you. How do you get your finger out of it?
You just, yeah.
All
Let's see.
right, I want to watch.
Okay.
I want to watch the hand
So,
movement.
I use the finger like literally just once, and I hold it.
Oh, so you just do that? I'm way too deep on the finger. I have too much finger. Okay, hold up. Here we go. That helped a little. So I do that, and then on the second trip around, I pull my finger out, and I've got a little bun there. Okay. And then you do a little tuck.
Didn't do it.
No.
My hair is just thinner, so it can actually fit.
Oh, pull my finger. Well, I'm done. I'll see you guys later. This has been Hair Tutorials with Paul Zigo. I got to change the branding on the channel, but hope you guys like the new direction.